Nicolas Anelka is a footballer that has really had an up and down career. He was winning trophies like the Premier League and the Champions League in his teenage years, but in his early 20s he was playing away in Turkey and for mid-table clubs like Manchester City and Bolton Wanderers. And then through hard work and dedication, Anelka found his way back to the top. He started winning the Premier League once again. He won the Serie A title. So one thing is for sure, Anelka has some serious talent. But there was a dip in his career, which basically means we need to answer the question, how good was he actually? So welcome to UW Football, and today we will be talking about just how good was Nicolas Anelka. As a teenager, Anelka was one of many up-and-coming talents coming out of France. Anelka was Paris Saint-Germain's golden boy. That was until Anelka turned 17. Anelka is a very proud player, and based on his Netflix documentary, Anelka lets people know of what he is thinking. At Paris Saint-Germain, Anelka believed that he should be a regular, and he might even have a point. He made 10 appearances and even scored for the Parisians. Anelka felt that he was being mistreated, so when Arsenal came in for him, Anelka packed his bags and left for England. At Arsenal, things didn't change for Anelka. He was mostly used in the reserves or as a substitute. And apparently, Anelka wanted to do the same thing at Arsenal that he had done at Paris. Walk out because he felt that he was being mistreated. Now let's not forget, Anelka here is a 17-year-old kid who thinks that he should be playing at one of the biggest clubs in English football. Arsene Wenger knew exactly how to deal with Nicolas Anelka. He talked some sense into the young 17-year-old. Anelka stayed at Arsenal and waited for an opportunity to come his way, and that's exactly what happened a year later. Ian Wright injured himself, and his injury paved the way for Nicolas Anelka to come in and shine at Arsenal. In his first full season, Anelka scored 6 times in the league, a league title that Arsenal won, and then Anelka scored in the cup final as Arsenal did the domestic double. 18-year-old Nicolas Anelka had the world at his feet. The following season, Anelka scored 17 times in the league. He won the PFA Young Player of the Year award. And all of this garnished media attention. Anelka is one of many examples of English media having problems with young up-and-coming black footballers. Sterling is the most recent, and he has spoken about it openly. In 1999, it was Nicolas Anelka. The tabloids called him spoiled. They called him an embodiment of everything that is wrong with the growing wealth of the Premier League. The problem for Anelka here was the French media were not too big of a fans of him either. They had bashed him for the manner in which he left Paris Saint-Germain. Anelka was now labelled the Incredible South. Anelka wasn't too pleased, so he wanted out. At first to Marseille, but in the end he chose Real Madrid. Now one thing the Real Madrid fans and the Spanish press don't like is a player that has an ego. Anelka chose the wrong club. At Real Madrid, things just got worse for him. 1 season, that's how long Anelka lasted there. In that time period, Anelka managed to have a 5-month goal drought, a falling out with the players, a falling out with the president. But he also managed to get some positives here. He scored twice against Bayern Munich in the semi-final, he scored against Barcelona in the El Clasico, and he won the UEFA Champions League title. But overall, the pros did not outweigh the cons, so Anelka was sent back packing to France. Anelka was back at PSG. Anelka, Ronaldinho, Diego Costa, what could go wrong here? Well, if 3 months in you sack the guy that signed these players, replace him with a conservative manager that wants to play organized football, then a lot could go wrong here. Ronaldinho was benched and Nicolas Anelka was sent out on loan to Liverpool. At Liverpool, Anelka finished second in the Premier League. He scored 4 times, but Gerard Houllier, the then Liverpool manager, wasn't impressed. Instead, he opted to sign Al-Hadji Diouf, and Anelka, a guy that once had the entire footballing world at his feet, was now out in the cold. Anelka's next move was to join Manchester City. A once club record signing at Real Madrid, a once PFA Young Player of the Year, a once Premier League winner with Arsenal, was now at lowly Manchester City. He was a record signing there, but that was some fall from grace. Anelka was not going to let this opportunity slide. At Manchester City, Anelka was the main man. He scored 37 times in 89 Premier League games, which is very impressive. His individual display against Chelsea saw Manchester City hand Jose Mourinho his first defeat in England, and Anelka also took revenge against Gerard Houllier, who had rejected him just a year early, as he scored away at Anfield as Manchester City upset Liverpool. Anelka had built back his reputation, so his next move made absolutely no sense. Anelka was now playing for Fenerbahçe in the Turkish Super League. Anelka had no reason being there in his prime, but he was very good there. He even won the Turkish Super League title, his first league title since his Arsenal days. But still, for a guy that had talked about dominating world football, Turkey was not going to cut it. So in 2006, Anelka was back in England. He was seen as the guy to lead the line of a team that had Fernando Hierro in defense, Deja Kocha in the wings, Djorkaeff, a World Cup winner, playing as a number 10. The only problem was that this was the year 2006. All the guys that I've mentioned were way past their best. The club was called Bolton Wanderers and they were managed by Sam Allardyce. This move was once again making no sense for Nicolas Anelka. What on earth was he doing there? Well, one thing that he was doing was scoring goals. He scored 23 times for Bolton Wanderers. And then a career resurgence happened for him. Finally, once again, a big club was ready to invest in Nicolas Anelka. Chelsea was his destination, and this was a great move for him. The press, with whom Nicolas Anelka had a problem in the past, would not be an issue, well, because it was Chelsea. And since it was Chelsea, they did not have overly demanding fans like at Real Madrid. And also, Chelsea had Didier Drogba, who was their main striker, so Nicolas Anelka can do whatever he wants, however he wants. The press won't bite him, the fans won't go after him, and this was a perfect move for him. The shackles were well and truly off. Anelka spent 4 seasons at Chelsea. He won the Golden Boot in 2009, won a Premier League title with them, 2 more FA Cups. Anelka was back playing with the best because he was one of the best. Anelka then proceeded to have a big payday in China, then came to Juventus. He did not do much there, but he did win the Serie A title. He was 34 years old. Nothing big was expected from him here. Then he headed over to West Bromwich Albion, where once again controversies followed him. Steve Clarke wasn't a fan of Nicolas Anelka, so when Steve Clarke was sacked, Anelka did the canal. The canal was Anelka's way of telling Steve Clarke to take it up, well, where you know. But since the media are not his friends and the canal represents something else, Anelka was in some deep trouble. Anelka was handed a lengthy suspension, and this suspension pretty much ended Anelka's career at the very top. His next stint was another payday in India, and after that, Anelka called it quits. Anelka was a record signing at Real Madrid, at PSG, at Manchester City, at Bolton Wanderers. A lot of clubs invested heavily in Anelka, and truly bar Real Madrid, Anelka did not let anyone down. It was always some off-field stuff that caused him to move, and he was just continue where he had previously left off. Anelka is Premier League's 16th highest goal scorer at the time of this recording, which is more impressive than you would think because he was only there for 11 years and spent 4 of them playing for mid-table clubs. I'll touch a little bit on his international career before I close this video off. Anelka's time with France, in my opinion, was a total bust. For the 98 World Cup, Anelka was not picked for no reason whatsoever, and then he was taken to the UEFA Euro 2000 even though he had a miserable season with Real Madrid. so it's no surprise he flopped there. He did win the tournament, but he didn't do much there. And then for the next 6 years, he was in and out of the France team because he was playing for mid-table clubs and for Fenerbahçe in Turkey. In 2010, Anelka finally had a go at the FIFA World Cup. But his run there lasted only a game and a half because Anelka started a civil war there and France were knocked out in the group stages. That pretty much ended Anelka's international career. Overall, I would say that he was a really good footballer, a top player. So yeah, this was a video on how good was Nicolas Anelka. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe, have a good day, and I will see you very soon.